than what we saw this earlier this evening is this group that formed on the steps of the west side of that encampment. So it seems like it's a little bit smaller, but their position has been relaxed here. They've all sat down on the steps there and on the grass, and they've been that way for a while. And I think it's because, as I tilt up here, the presence of the LA County Sheriffs has all but gone here on that west quad area there in front of Wilson Plaza. They have removed all their vehicles and left that area. So those people still there in a big number, almost 1,000 people, I would say, in total on that west side. But I think some of them have moved over, and I'll move the camera down here to that east side where we see the bulk of the protesters here on the eastern lawn that John was talking about. So again, the crowd has shifted maybe a little bit. Some people have left, but at this point, it looks like it's a stalemate with everyone staying in place at this point. That's the latest overhead in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, and Gil, we understand that there is a whole lot of, buses that are on standby as well, and more authority personnel that are on standby near the 405 freeway. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We saw the main command post for CHP, the sheriffs, in that area earlier. I should say we took a look at that earlier, and they had quite a presence there. But so far, we haven't seen any of those vehicles moving this direction in the last couple hours.
All right, and as we continue to watch this, Gil, it looks as though the numbers have swelled a bit from our coverage early this evening in the 6 o'clock hour. We saw hundreds of people. It looks as though the crowd has continued to grow into the night here.
I'd have to agree with that for sure. It looks like they spread out. We see some groups that are kind of coming in from this direction. This is from the north, moving into the south on the eastern side of the protest here. As I come up, right next to Royce Hall here on the eastern side of it, there's a group of protesters there as well that we didn't see as many there earlier. So they have spread out, they've moved around, and still that large presence on the west side is there. But as far as the encampment, still a lot of activity down there as we zoom back in to the steps of Royce Hall. Now what we're seeing that different than we saw last night is in this area we saw all that plywood set up on this side of the encampment. That has all been moved to set up walls further out, like you see right here. That all that plywood has been moved over to encompass the Shapiro Fountain area. So the encampment has actually grown to the west a little bit.
And that is blocking the entrance to the library. Is that correct?
We're looking from the east to the west. So no, it's actually facing those steps where the LA County Sheriffs were at on this lawn here earlier. So they quickly moved those sets of plywood there to make a fence there when those officers or those deputies were over there in that area, but they have since moved on.
All right, we remain on scene and over the scene, and we'll continue to monitor the developments on the campus of UCLA tonight.
Region, and what that does is just makes everybody stay put. Nobody's allowed to go home. Everybody stays on shift. They can do this in different fashions with a modified tactical alert just for the Bureau, or they can do it as a citywide tactical alert, which is what they have done here, and probably is because UCLA is not necessarily their jurisdiction. They're a partner agency, an assisting agency in this. So you're probably getting officers from West LA, Pacific Division, even some in the Valley probably that are coming over the hill to go down there as well. So just because of that, they're pulling resources from different bureaus across the city, different divisions across the city. And because of that, as we're looking now at live pictures of KCAL and Desmond Shaw overhead now, we are, you see even right there, that 10 on the back of that cop car, that's from LAPD's West Valley. That 9 is from Van Nuys Division. So that 1 is from downtown LA. So they're really pulling from all over the city, and because you're drawing resources from all over the city, that's why the tactical alert goes into effect. That way other portions of the city are not left kind of hanging while you have these officers over here at UCLA.